Hey guys, Justin Bryan here from selfmadesuccess.com, and in this video I'm going to show you 11 blogging tips and tricks for beginners. So if you're new to blogging and you're trying to get more traffic and you're trying to make your first few $100s or few $1,000s online from a blog, these tips and tricks will help you get there fairly quickly and still keep it simple so you don't have to learn too much complicated stuff right away. So the first thing I would recommend you do as a beginner is you need to make sure that your blog is lean and it's fast. So there are a few ways you can do that. First of all, you need to know how fast it is. So to test that, you can go to tools.pingdom.com. You notice here, this is what it looks like. You can do a test. Say I want to do huffingtonpost.com. Say start test, and what it'll do is it will do a test of your performance grade, and it will do a summary of how fast it loads, how many requests your website has, things like that. So you can go through this test, and once it's done you can check and see what your website needs to improve. So it's a free test and you can use it many times per day without having to pay for anything. Of course, they have a premium version as well, but it'll tell you requests by content type. It'll tell you how fast each individual request loads so that you can narrow down what particular thing is slowing down your website and you can get rid of it or optimize it. So this test seems to be taking a little bit right now, so I'm not going to go ahead and wait on it, but I think you kind of get the idea. Oh, there it is, it's done. Okay, so you can see the performance grade isn't great for that home page. Loaded in 3.23 seconds, 357 requests, which is pretty high. Page size 4.9 megabytes, and it's faster than 51% of tested sites. So it also tells you in comparison how you stack up against others. So you can kind of go through and it'll give you A through F grades on what you're doing right and what you're doing wrong. It'll give you examples of what you need to fix and show you all the numbers on the site that you need to know. So that's the best way to test that. And another thing is, if you want to keep your site lean, look at digitalmarketer.com. They're a good example of a lean website. They're good at marketing, and they've increased their speed and increased their conversions by just getting rid of all the clutter. So you'll notice they have no sidebar on the left side over here. They don't have a sidebar on the right side. Everything is going in the middle, and then they have a very minimal menu and then their logo. So it's very simple the way they design their site, and you'll notice a lot of the biggest marketing blogs have gotten rid of their sidebars and gotten rid of all the stuff on the sides so that you are more focused on the content in the middle. So that's another way to just speed up your site and get your visitors more focused on your content, is by just getting rid of all the clutter and keeping things minimalistic and simple. So also remember to test your site on Pingdom. Number 2, write lengthy blog posts. So a great example of how a lengthy post looks is going to quicksprout.com/blog, and you'll notice that Neil Patel, the founder of QuickSprout, writes very long articles, and this is one of the reasons why he ranks for pretty much anything he does, because he blogs consistently about 3 days a week, but his posts go so far in depth and have so much quality information that it's almost impossible for him not to rank his articles. So of course you want to rank your stuff because that increases your traffic for your blog. So I encourage you to go to quicksprout.com, look at some of these articles that he does, how long they are. If you really want to, you can highlight all of this copy it and paste it in a WordPress new post, and it will tell you how big the word count is. Of course, you don't want to keep it there. Just do that to see what the word count is, and then delete the text and write your own post. But it will give you an idea, if after you do a few of them, of how long a typical really good post would be. And of course, he also includes great images, and he breaks it up with nice headlines and things like that. Another thing is keep a lot of spacing between your sentences like he does. So if you want to just make your articles look nice and get the most out of them, this is a good example. Look at quicksprout.com. Number 3, write as often as possible. So a example of how often writing is something that will help you get better rankings and get tons of traffic is Entrepreneur.com. If you go to Entrepreneur.com, you'll notice that they have a ton of new articles per day. I actually went through and tested it, and they publish on average about 40 to 50 new posts per day. They have a lot of guest bloggers. Of course, they don't just write all the posts with 1 or 2 people. They have plenty of people writing, and then they have a few editors that just edit all the posts and publish them. So when they publish this much quality content per day, and each post is about maybe 700 to 1,000 words each, it's almost impossible for you not to increase your traffic month after month, day after day. And if you can pull it off, that's great. I don't expect you to right now. If you're a beginning blogger, don't worry too much about getting other people to write for you yet. Just focus on writing 3 times a week, 5 times a week, whatever you can do. If you can write a post a day, 5 days a week, you're going to be ahead of most people. So just write as consistently as possible. Remember to write lengthy, high quality content, and as long as you keep those 2 things in mind and you practice those 2 things, you'll get better and better at writing, and you'll get more and more traffic. Number 4, share your posts on social media. So a great example of how to use social media for blogging is JeffBolus.com. You'll notice he has his social media profiles that you can follow up here in the top right corner. He has Twitter, Facebook, RSS feed, LinkedIn, Google+, and Instagram. You want to have a place where people can follow you. Also, on the left side, if you go to his blog, you'll notice over here that he has follow buttons, or not follow buttons, but share buttons for all his articles. You can't see it right now, it's cut off on the screen, but he has Pinterest, Facebook, LinkedIn, Buffer, Google+, Twitter, Flipboard, Reddit, and WhatsApp. So, and it tells you the total shares. Not only do social media shares help you get more traffic, they also account for positive feedback, positive social proof. Social proof is basically making you look good in front of other people's eyes by having popularity. And a symbol of your popularity is how many shares your articles get. So when you go to an article on JeffBolus.com, notice how he uses social media to get more followers up here and get more shares on the left side over here. So learn from that. He's one of the better social media marketers. Number 5, collect emails. So you have to collect emails if you want to succeed. Pretty much whatever your online business is, whether you use a blog or you don't, whether you are a YouTuber or a podcaster or you're an e-commerce site, it doesn't matter. You need to collect emails because that's how you stay in touch with potential customers. That's how you get them to see your promotions. That's how you get them to come back to your blog over and over again. So the way you do this, the best way you can do this is to use a pop-up or a welcome gate. So when you first go to JeffBolus.com, you will probably notice that if you've never been there before, when you first go there, a big thing will come up that covers the whole screen asking you to put in your email. and it'll be something like this, just bigger. So that would be more of a welcome mat. You can get that with the Sumo Me app, which is free for WordPress. Also, a pop-up. A pop-up comes up in the middle of the page. It's a big square. You've probably seen them before many times. They pop up here, and then you put in your email, and then you press a button, and you get something usually in exchange for your email, like an ebook or something like that. So you want to use either a pop-up or a welcome mat. They're very similar. I recommend Ninja pop-ups as a cheap and still high quality option for WordPress. I've used them a long time and I've been very happy with them. It's just $25. It's a one-time fee, so you don't have to worry about monthly payments, and they allow a lot of integration with all the biggest email marketing services. So to collect your emails and actually email them, you're going to need an email marketing service. I recommend GetResponse because they're cheap to start and they have all the bells and whistles and the options you want to help you customize the way you want to market to your list. Also, Aweber is a good one, MailChimp is another one, but whatever you do, just make sure you're collecting emails, you're sending them emails when you have a new blog post, and you're sending promotions via email using a service like GetResponse for email marketing, and then using a pop-up to collect the emails on your actual blog. Number 6, set up Google Analytics and check out for patterns. So you need to find patterns to figure out what to build on and what to avoid doing in the future for your blog. The way I became successful is by finally understanding that I have to look at analytics as much as possible. I look at analytics for parts of my business at least once a day, 5 days a week. So analytics are what tell you all the numbers, all the metrics, how much traffic you're getting, where the traffic's coming from, which articles are doing better than others, things like that that you need to know. So to get started with analytics and to get it set up, you can go to support.google.com/analytics and look up the Get Started with Analytics page, or just put how to start or how to set up Google Analytics, and this will be one of the top results. It's a page that looks like this. It'll walk you through how to set up Google Analytics for your blog, and it's pretty straightforward. It's very easy. They even have a Google Analytics plugin if you have WordPress that makes it easy to set up. Also, these are the main metrics you need to track when you're starting out. Of course, there are more advanced metrics you can look at, like goals and return on investment and things like that. You can check that out later. Don't worry about that right now if you're just getting started blogging. The 7 you need to pay attention to, as mentioned by practicalecommerce.com, are your sessions, users, page views, pages a session, average session duration, bounce rate, and percent of new sessions. So this will tell you sessions, your total traffic, users, how many people, basically how many individual people are going. So you'll usually have less users in sessions because some people will come back to your blog multiple times. Page views, total page views of how many pages they go to. They could go to multiple pages in one session, which would mean that they are probably more interested in your blog than, say, people who just go to one page. Pages per session, so that will tell you how much the average person, how many pages the average person goes to per session. The session duration, that's about how much time they typically spend on your website when they go there for one session. The bounce rate is the rate of how often they click the back button and leave your site without going to any other page. And the percent of new sessions, so this is the percentage of how many new people are you attracting to your blog as opposed to repeat visitors. So keep those things in mind, study those analytics. When something spikes, when you see a spike in something or a dip in something, that tells you that you need to figure out what caused that, and if it's a dip, don't do that again. Eliminate that from your process of blogging. If it's a spike, figure out how you did that and figure out how to duplicate it in the future. Number 7, get an extra boost from sharing communities. There's 4 main sharing communities that I would recommend you try, and this will help you get more shares per blog post and get you more traffic per blog post before you have much of a social media presence. So if you don't have a lot of Twitter followers, Facebook fans, and things like that, don't worry about it. These are 4 different communities that allow you to leverage other people's followings for free. So Viral Content Buzz, JustRetweet, and Empire.Kred, basically you share people's stuff on social media that's interesting to you, you earn points, and then you use those points to pay people to share your stuff on social media to their following. So this way you leverage people who have big followings already, even when you don't. So it gets you more traffic, gets you more shares, and grows your blog faster. Triberr is basically a way of, you set up a tribe, which is a group of people that basically automatically share each other's content. So if you can connect with a group of people and set up a tribe of bloggers that you all really like each other's content and your fan bases are similar, you can automatically share each other's stuff through Triberr like that. So JustRetweet looks like this. When you sign up, you get these credits, you submit a tweet, and it looks like these tweets allow you to you schedule a tweet and it pays you a certain amount of credits as it shows you there, and then you earn these points, and once you get maybe a few hundred credits, you submit a tweet yourself, you let them know how much you will pay them per tweet, and they are able to share it on Twitter, Facebook, and Google+. Viral Content Buzz is fairly similar, except it uses StumbleUpon, Facebook, Twitter, and Pinterest. So you just log in or register if you don't have an account yet. You share people's stuff, you get a certain amount of points, you use those points to get people to share your stuff. It's very straightforward. Number 8, be a specialist before expanding. So this is another thing beginners really need to learn. This is something I wish I learned before I started. You need to be a big fish in a smaller pond before you try to be a... You don't want to be a small fish in a big pond when you start out. Let me put it that way. So what I mean by that is you don't want to be one of the blogs that covers a very generalized industry, like say entrepreneurship or marketing or fashion or something like that. You want to specialize in a certain niche within that industry. So if you're say doing a fashion blog or something, you might do men's athletic shoes blog or something, instead of just an overall fashion blog where you would have to compete with the big brands. You don't want to compete with the big brands yet, not until you've built up a reputation and a big base of traffic. So there's a post that was very well put by Seth Godin called "A Big Fish in a Little Pond." I don't want to read the entire thing right now, but he basically says big fish, they get respect, of course. The problem is it's really hard to be a big fish in a big pond. So typically you have to be the big fish in a small pond, which means you are an authority in a small niche, but you're at least not just overlooked in a big niche. So you're still getting traffic and you're getting sales because you're a specialist and people see you as an authority for a specific thing. So I would read that over, just kind of learn what Seth Godin is getting across to you. He's one of the greatest marketing minds of today, so you can learn a lot from just this post and what it means to start out in a niche and start out with a specialist mentality as opposed to being general and trying to take on the big brands from day one. Number 9, make people have to click your headlines because they're so good. They cannot resist. They have an urge in their brain to click your headline because it's so attractive to them. So there are a few ways to make headlines that are this good. First of all, you want to study the news. The news sites know how to create headlines that grab your attention right away. They've been doing it for years. They've learned how to do this in school. They've learned how to do this. They've been trained to do this very well. So, go through yahoo.com and you'll see all the latest news and trending topics on here, and you will see the best, most attractive headlines you can imagine, and you will probably end up clicking on a lot of these articles just because they're so just because they pull you in so much, and they're hard to ignore when they're very attractive and they're very well written. So if you want to make headlines that are this good, that influence you to click, go to coschedule.com/headline-analyzer, or just look up the CoSchedule headline analyzer. You'll end up on a page like this, and what you do is you type in a headline here in this box, and it will analyze it and tell you basically how strong your headline is. So they've basically broken down popular blog post headlines and gotten it down to a science where they can figure out what type of words make people want to click, make the emotional decision to click, because humans do things based off emotion, not necessarily just logic. So you can make your headlines more emotional by taking the tips that they give you in this analyzer. They will show you, well, here I'll just do an example. Say 13 ways to make money online, as just an example. It'll analyze it, it'll show you the results, and it will give you a score. You need to have a certain type of headline. Certain types do better than others. For instance, a how-to or a list. You'll notice I put a number at the beginning of the headline, making it a list post, so it checks that off. It has 6 words, so it's a good length. It's not too long, not too short. 28 characters, a little bit short. It could be a little more length in it, but it looks good in Google results. It doesn't get cut off because it's too long. It has a neutral sentiment, so another thing you could do to improve this score is make it highly negative or highly positive, by adding positive and negative emotional words to the headline. Uncommon words make ways, things like that. Common words kind of make it flow better, it turn it into a complete sentence. Emotional words help you get more attraction from readers to click. Power words really just drive it home. Like power word might be like the best or incredible or something like that. So this is actually a pretty good headline score, 72 out of 100. It's A+, but it could still be a lot better. There's still 28 points that could be added to it. But just use the headline analyzer on coschedule.com and also learn from Yahoo News to see how headlines should be put together. Number 10, offer notifications for readers. So if you want to allow people to see when you publish a new article without them having to opt in with their email or something like that, in other words, they will be notified on their browser when you publish a new article, you use notifications. You can set up Google notifications. This is what it looks like, and it says don't allow traffic generation cafe. A big traffic blog does this, and when you press allow, it will give you notifications from this blog, and when people like your blog, they'll probably want to be notified when you have new content so they don't miss it. So you can just go to google.com, look up how to set up Google notifications, and it will walk you through how to do that. It's free to do, and this is kind of what it looks like. It's just a notification tab here that pops up asking you if you want to get notifications when people have new content and things like that. So that can get you more traffic. Number 11, last but not least, read and learn from other top bloggers you look up to. So let's say you're in the health industry. Find the top 10 or 15 best health blogs. Maybe it's bodybuilding.com, maybe it's men's health, whatever it is. Find the top blogs, figure out which ones have the most traffic. You can go to alexa.com, that's Alexa.com, and they will tell you the top traffic blogs in the world, the ones that have the most visitors per month, and you can find them in different categories and things like that to match your industry, and then follow them, learn from them, find patterns between them. One thing you can do to keep up with these blogs is you can make a list on Twitter. As you can see, I have a list on Twitter of 25 different influencers in the marketing and entrepreneurship space. So I can learn from all these different people all the time by looking at their social media posts, going to their blogs, going to their content, and just seeing how they structure their businesses to allow me to find patterns and apply them to my own business, improving my results. Like I've said before, like you've heard Tony Robbins say, success leaves clues. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. People have been successful doing whatever it is you're doing, most likely already, so why not learn from the people that are already successful doing it? Make a list of the top influencers in your niche and learn from them so that you can apply what they do to become successful like them. So if you got something from this video, if you feel like you learned something about blogging for beginners and the best tips and tricks for helping you get better results, please like and subscribe so I can create more videos like this for you to help you with your blogging needs. If there are some tips and tricks that you thought helped you when you were a beginner, or just some simple tactics that I left out, or if you just want to let me know what you thought about the video, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. And if you want to get more in-depth blog posts on this stuff, if you want to check out some resources and tools that you can use to get better blogging results, you can go to selfmadesuccess.com. Other than that, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you have a great day.